Welcome everyone in today's video. Here you will get 50 useful Excel tips, tricks, and shortcuts. This aims to make your work with Excel as fast as possible. First, one click to select all cells. Click the Select All button found at the upper left of the worksheet, at the origin of row and column headings. With just one click, all cells in the worksheet are highlighted. And you can now make changes to the whole work area. You can, for example, change the fill color of all cells. Alternatively, you can also highlight all cells if you click any blank cell and press Ctrl and A. Double-click to hide or show the ribbon. You may want to hide the ribbon to have a bigger work area and show it again when you use it. You can do it with the Ribbon Display Options button, but the faster way to do it is to just double-click the Open tab in order to hide the ribbon, and double-click any tab to display the ribbon. Another way to quickly hide or show the ribbon is to press Ctrl plus F1. Open multiple files. If you need to open multiple files in the folder at once, select all files to be opened, right-click, and choose Open. Tell Excel what to do. If you want to do something and you forgot where the function is located, don't waste your time looking for it. Just click this tab that says Tell me what you want to do. Type the function, say strike through, and hit enter. And it's done. Or if you want to format the heading, just highlight the range and type Format Cells here. Immediately, Format Cells window appears. Proceed to do formatting. And click OK or hit enter, and you're done. Shortcut tip. You can quickly access the search box if you press Alt-Q, then type the function. Pin to Taskbar. You can use Pin to Taskbar to display an application on your taskbar like this so that it will be easy for you to access. For example, click Search and find the Excel app. Right-click and you will see here Pin to Taskbar if it's not yet on your taskbar. Mine shows unpinned because the Excel app is already here. Click Pin to Taskbar and check. The Excel app must be on your taskbar. Keyboard shortcut to zoom in and out. You don't need to go to the zoom control every time you need to zoom in or out. You can swiftly do it with the keyboard shortcut Ctrl plus Alt plus the plus sign to zoom in. And to zoom out, that's Ctrl plus Alt plus the minus sign. Enter the current date and time. Suppose you want to insert here the current date and time. To quickly enter the current date, press Ctrl plus semicolon. And to enter the current time, press Ctrl plus Shift plus colon. Quick Access Toolbar. The Quick Access Toolbar can be customized and is a great tool to store Excel functions that you usually use so that you can easily access them as they are displayed all the time, even if the ribbon is hidden. With the use of this icon, you can add or remove functions from the Quick Access Toolbar. And there are more commands here that can be added as well. Double-click to rename a sheet. The basic way to rename a sheet is to right-click on the sheet name and choose Rename, and then type the new name. But the faster way to do is to double click on the sheet name and type in the new name. Shortcut to open the Format Cells window. Cell formatting is a very common and a repetitive thing to do when working with Excel. So it's great to know the keyboard shortcut to open the Format Cells window. Press Ctrl plus 1 and the window will be instantly displayed. Start a new line of text inside a cell. If, for example, you have other products here, and since the description does not fit the size of the cell, you can have two lines for this. Let us put products in the next line. To start a new line of text in a single cell or insert a line break, double-click the cell in which you want to insert a line break. Then go to the location where you want to start a new line of text. Then press and hold Alt and hit Enter. And you now have text in another line within the same cell. Quickly insert a comment. You can insert a comment if you right-click on the cell, then choose Insert Comment. But it can be done faster if you just click the cell and press Shift F2 or Function 2. The comment box is opened without using a mouse, and you can now type your comment. Cell message. Excel has input message function that can be used to display a message when a cell is selected. It is very helpful if you want to give the user instructions when he or she chooses the cell. An example is when you're showing directions for filling out forms or entering data. We have here a sales invoice form, and it is helpful if we put a message for the cells under quantity. Cell message is in the data validation window under the data tab. And the keyboard shortcut is Alt-A-V-V. Click Input Message, and the box for Input Message when cell is selected must be checked. You can indicate the title for your message. And the cell message here, say, please indicate the volume and the unit of measure. How does it differ from using comments discussed in the previous tip? They are similar and you can use comment instead of this. The only drawback with comment is that it is displayed only when you hover the mouse over the cell, while cell message displays the message whenever a cell is selected, using either mouse or keyboard. To compare, let us put a comment here with the same note. Please indicate the volume and the unit of measure. Here with the cell message, the message appears if the cell is selected using the keyboard. So it's safe to assume that every user who fills up this form will be able to see the message before typing in the information. Here with the comment, it does not appear if you choose the cell using the keyboard. Fill down. You can quickly copy the formula down with the use of the keyboard shortcut Ctrl plus D. Just select the cell that has the formula as well as the cells where you want to fill with formula. Hold Ctrl and D, and the highlighted blank cells are filled with the same formula. Unless you include absolute or mixed references before filling the formula down, relative reference will be used to ensure that the formulas adjust for each row. What if you want to copy a formula to the adjacent cells at the right? Click the cell that has formula and highlight the cells where you want to fill with formula, and press Ctrl R. And the highlighted cells are filled with the same formula. It's easy to remember. Ctrl plus D to copy the formula down, and Control plus R to copy the formula to the cells at the right. Cycle through relative and absolute cell reference. You can quickly cycle through all combinations of relative and absolute cell reference in a formula with the use of F4 key. If this is your formula, the references are both relative. Relative cell reference is the default behavior of a formula. If you copy this to another cell, Excel changes the cell references based on the relative rows or columns. With just one click of the F4 key, the formula reference becomes absolute. The reference is constant even if the formula is copied to another location. Another click of F4 and it becomes a mixed reference. It is mixed because one component of the cell reference is relative and the other is absolute. In this case, it's a relative column reference and absolute row reference. Meaning, if the formula is copied to another column, the reference changes. But if copied to another row, the reference is fixed. Click F4 again and the formula is still a mixed reference, but this time it's a relative row reference and an absolute column reference. To summarize, from relative cell reference, click F4 to change to absolute cell reference. Click F4 again and it becomes a mixed reference of relative column and absolute row. Click F4 again and it becomes a mixed reference of relative row and absolute column. Click F4 again and it goes back to relative cell reference. Excel on the web. You can use Excel on the web for free. Just go to the website office.com and sign in with your Microsoft account. If you don't have an account, you can click this link to create one for free. Once signed in, proceed and click this icon to start using Excel. You can select the new and blank workbook or use the suggested templates here. For this example, let us use the new blank workbook. And the necessary Excel functions are here. Shortcut for frequently used text formatting functions. Knowing the keyboard shortcut for frequently used text formatting functions will save you a significant amount of time. Press Ctrl plus I if you want to italicize or remove italic format. Ctrl plus B to change to bold text format or remove bold format. And Ctrl plus U to underline text or remove underline. It's so simple. Ctrl and I for italicize, Ctrl and B for bold, and Ctrl and U for underline. Double-click to adjust the column and row. Using Autofit is the quickest approach to change a column's width and a row's height. Simply double-click the right border of the chosen column, and the cell's size will be automatically adjusted to match the column's widest set of data. Additionally, we can do it for numerous columns. Select them, then double-click any of the chosen column's right border. The same can be done to the row. If you click the lower border twice, you can change the height of a single row or several rows. But if you have a lot of columns and rows to go through, the fastest way to adjust all is to click the Select All button and click in between the columns and in between rows. Then all columns and rows will be adjusted. Fill the selected range with the current entry. If you have multiple cells to be entered with the same data, you can simultaneously enter the data to the selected range. Just highlight the cells, type the data, hold Control, and press Enter. Swiftly move the cursor to the beginning or end. If you want to change this description and want to move the cursor to the beginning of the text, you don't have to press the arrow and go through all the characters here until you reach the beginning. You can directly go to the very beginning if you press Ctrl plus Home. And you can quickly move the cursor to the end of the text if you press Ctrl and End. Highlight and drag to move data. The quick method to move data is to highlight and drag the border. Highlight the cells and drag anywhere on the border to a new location. Instantly, the selected cells are here. You can do it on the entire column or the entire row. And you can do it on multiple columns and multiple rows. Just highlight the columns and drag. Highlight multiple rows and drag. Instantly hide rows and columns. You can hide rows and columns in an instant. To hide a row, click any cell in the row, then press and hold Ctrl plus 9. To hide multiple rows, highlight the rows and press Ctrl plus 9. To hide a column, click any cell in the column and press and hold Ctrl plus 0. To hide multiple columns, highlight the columns and press Ctrl plus 0. Shortcut to remove blanks. To remove the blank cells, highlight the data and click Alt-H-F-D. Then proceed to choose Go to Special by hitting S. Then type K to select the blanks. Now all blanks are highlighted. Right-click any of the blank cells and choose Delete. Then choose Shift Cells Left. All blank cells are now removed. Effortlessly delete and insert cells. Just click Ctrl and minus sign to delete a cell. Click Ctrl and plus sign to insert a cell. It's easy to remember. Just hold Ctrl, then press minus to delete and plus to insert. Data validation keyboard shortcut. Data validation is used to limit the type of data to be entered in a cell and reduce errors when entering data. We have here a sales report with product names. To apply a validation rule, highlight the cells and click Alt-A-V-V. And we're now with the data validation window. Under Allow, change any value with List. And make sure that the box for In-Cell dropdown is checked. Then input the source list. And there we go. Notice that this icon appears in all the selected cells and the list of allowed inputs appears if you click the icon. An error alert will now display when invalid data is entered. This is a very helpful tool to organize your report as the input entered in a specific cell must comply with the criteria set for that cell. I have a video with more detailed illustration about data validation that you can check if you need more details about this function. Instantly undo and redo the last command or action. Let us type a word here. If you want to undo that, just press Ctrl and Z. And if you want to redo, press Ctrl and Y. Ctrl Z to undo, Ctrl Y to redo. Filter list keyboard shortcut. This is an easy way to manage large amounts of data. Click anywhere in the table and hit Alt-A-T. That's it. You can now choose specific products to show, say product 3 and 5 only. And you can filter multiple columns. Example, filter region aside from the product. Display sales coming from region 3 only. So now we are only showing sales of product 3 and 5 from region 3. Shortcut to insert slicers. Slicers provide the same function as filter. However, slicers show large, friendly buttons that are always visible. With this, you can work faster with the use of slicers. The buttons are created automatically based on values in the data. The first step is to highlight the data and click Ctrl T to insert a table. And make sure that this box here is checked if your table has headers. Then click OK. And you now have a table with filter. Then let's add slicers. Go to a cell anywhere in the table and click Alt NSF to insert slicers. Then check the information that you want to display. For example, we choose product, region, and sales rep. Now the options are displayed. Just click the info that you want to show. If you want multiple selections, hold the Control key and click More Options. You can click this portion if you want to clear the selections. Switch between displaying formulas or cell values in the worksheet. You can do this by simply pressing Ctrl plus grave accent, the key to the left of number 1, to display the formulas, and do the same to display back the cell values. Difference between dates. Let us assume that you're working with the HR department and you're asked to determine the length of service of the recently resigned employees. You need to calculate the difference between the date left and the date hired. See this example. The employee was hired November 18, 2017 and left the company on December 16, 2019. To compute for the number of days, you can simply type the equal sign, then subtract the start date from the end date. So click the end date minus the start date. You can also use another formula to compute for the number of days or months or years that Andrew worked for the company using dated if. For the number of days, type equal sign dated if, open parentheses, the date hired or start date, the date left or end date, then D with quotation marks, and then close parentheses and enter. The answer is also 758 days. If you want to express it in full months, use the same formula, but replace D with M. For full years, still the same formula, but replace this with Y. Quick Analysis Tool. This tool allows us to analyze our data quickly and easily with Excel's useful tools such as charts, color coding, and formulas. Highlight a table and click this icon at the bottom right corner. Or you can choose any cell in the table and press Control plus Q. Here we can do quick formatting to add visual representation and help identify distinct figures like the highest and the lowest. We can add data bars, color scale, icon set to easily spot high, low, and average figures. We can even highlight greater than, say greater than 40,000, or quickly highlight figures that belong to the top 10%. We can also choose and insert a chart to our spreadsheet. We can get totals of rows or columns in one click. It can also instantly give us the average figures, percent to total, and other relevant information. We can add a formatted table as well as spark lines for us to instantly do trending analysis. All of those functions are in one icon found at the bottom right corner of the highlighted data. Conditional formatting. Further to the quick analysis tool, conditional formatting offers more options. For example, with this table, let's highlight the amounts and then go to Home, then Conditional Formatting, or simply press Alt-HL. And it displays the many things you can do with your data. From highlight cells rules, let's say highlight cells between 25,000 and 35,000. Now the figures are highlighted as defined. Going back, there's top-bottom rules like show the top 10 items. You can also find more selections for data bars, color scales, and icon sets. You can even set a new rule. Let's try this. Format all cells based on their values. We can assign yellow for the lowest and green for the highest. To clear the format, click Clear Rules either from selected cells or entire sheet. Display the keyboard shortcuts in the ribbon. If you're not familiar with the shortcut key for the Excel functions in the ribbon, you can have an instant guide if you click Alt. Just follow and click the key corresponding to the tab or command. Shortcut to group and ungroup rows or columns. Instead of using the ribbon to group and ungroup rows or columns, do it through the keyboard. To group rows or columns, press and hold Shift, Alt, and arrow right. A window will be displayed for you to choose between rows and columns. Then hit OK. To ungroup a range of cells that were previously grouped, press and hold Shift, Alt, and arrow left. A window will be displayed to allow you to choose between rows and columns. Then click OK. Paste Special. This Excel function is useful if you don't want to copy everything in the cell. For example, copying this including the formula will give you different values or error. So it's better to copy only the values. Click Ctrl and C to copy and click Alt ESV to paste only the values, or Alt EST to copy only the format. You can make the values negative if you click Alt-ES-VS. Another useful feature of this paste special function is if you need to transpose the data or to switch the rows and columns in the table. These product names are arranged vertically, but you can copy and paste them somewhere horizontally with the use of Alt-ES-VE. Find Replace. If there are items in your data that you want to replace, this function can help. Go to any cell in the table and highlight the data with the use of Ctrl plus A. Display Find function with the use of Ctrl plus F. Type the value that you want to find and replace, say region 3. Click Alt P and type the replacement value, say region 6. And click Alt plus A. Now all cells containing region 3 are replaced with region 6. Get data from the web. Excel allows you to import data directly from the web instead of adding it manually. It will then be easier for you to analyze and use the data. Once you've connected Excel to the web data source, it will import the data you require and keep itself updated as things change. There are two requirements for you to import data directly from the web into Excel. First, Microsoft Excel version. This is only available for Excel 365, 2021, 2019, 2016, 2013, and 2010. Second, data format. The data must be in tabular form or embedded within an HTML table for you to be able to import data from the web into Microsoft Excel. If the data is not in a table, it cannot be identified. If you have the two requirements, you can proceed, and here's what you need to do. Click Data and choose From Web. A window will pop up with the label From Web. Then, input the URL of the web page into the URL box. For example, if you want foreign exchange conversions to be imported to Excel, copy the URL with Ctrl C, then paste it into this box. Click OK to load the web page in the browser. When Excel is done loading the data, a navigator window will appear. You can now select the tables listed to check if the one that you need was imported. Choose the table that you want to have in Excel and click Load. And you've imported web data into Microsoft Excel. You can set your preference on how you would like the refresh data to be done. Click on the table and Table Design tab will appear on the ribbon. You will find Refresh drop-down within the group External Table Data. Click the drop-down and you'll find three options: Refresh, Refresh All, and Connection Properties. Click Connection Properties for you to set your preference. Then you'll find this dialog box. Under the Usage tab, click the box for your refresh preferences. There are preferences set by default, and if you're okay with that, leave that as is. You can choose to refresh you have to define the minute intervals where you want this to occur. And you can choose to refresh the data when opening the file. Then click OK. Remove duplicate values. Excel has a function that can quickly remove duplicate values from a set of data. Highlight the table and click Alt-AM. The default considers all headings, meaning if all data under the three headings match, one duplicate will be removed. click OK. Let's try to modify it. Highlight and click Alt AM and remove the amount so that the duplicate values where the product and region match will also be removed. So this time, 2 duplicate values were removed from the table and 4 unique values remain. Open the right-click menu with keyboard. You can open the right-click menu for the selected cell with the use of Shift plus F10. This is a great help if you don't want to use a mouse. Is blank formula. This is the easy way to spot blank cells. Type the equal sign and ISB, then tab. Choose the cell that you want to check if blank and hit enter. Then copy to the next cells. It shows true if the cell is empty and false if it contains data. If is blank. You can include if to the is blank formula for more options on how you want to display the answer. Just type the equal sign, then if, open parenthesis, then the is blank formula. Input the desired value to appear if true and the desired value to appear if false. Let's try. Say we want to show 0 if the reference cell is blank and 1 if the reference cell has content. Note that we include open and close quotation marks. Custom list. It's helpful when you frequently need to do different tasks on the same data. It also helps you to sort data based on your choice. Excel has generic options to sort from A to Z or low to high, with the regular sort option. But with a custom list, you can sort the data according to your own preference. Let me show you how to create a list in Excel and how to use it. First, go to File and click Options. Select Advanced and find Create Lists for use in sorts and fill sequences. Is here. To its right, there's Edit Custom Lists. Click and you will find the existing custom lists. Days of the week as well as months of the year are already here, so you don't need to create them manually if you need them. To manually create a new one, select New List and click Add. Now start typing the entries in this box. For example, let us have a list of the expenses that we are regularly monitoring. First, salaries. Press Enter after every entry. Then, supplies. Transportation. Utilities. Rent. Taxes and licenses. Depreciation. Repairs. And finally, miscellaneous. Click OK. And the manually created list is added to the custom lists. Then click OK again here. Note that you can delete the manually created list. Now go to your Excel file and type the first name in your entry list. Then drag it down. And the list is automatically shown. There's no need to manually type every time you need them. You can also drag it to the right to show the list horizontally. The days and months can also be auto-populated. Vertically and horizontally. For Excel 2003, you should go to Tools, Options, Custom List, then follow the same process as the given example. Shortcut to check the spelling. You don't need to go to the ribbon and click Review, then Spelling, to check the spelling of your active worksheet or selected range. Just click F7 and the spelling window will be displayed with its findings and suggestions. If you want to check spelling in a specific range, highlight the range first, then hit F7. Shortcut to open the Insert Hyperlink dialog box. You can improve the credibility of your data if you insert hyperlinks to allow outside sources for your reader. It can also serve as reminder or reference for more details about the subject. Inserting hyperlink is a simple thing to do and even made easier with the use of the keyboard shortcut. Click Ctrl and K and the hyperlink dialog box will display where you can choose a file or web page to link to your data. Count blank and count A. You can determine the number of blank cells in a table if you type the equal sign and count blank. Click Tab, then select the range of cells. Then click Enter, and you'll see the number of blank cells. In a similar way, you can also count the number of cells that are not empty if you type the equal sign and count A. Click Tab, then go to the range of cells. Then Enter. Excel displays the number of cells with content. Open Workbook Statistics dialog box. If you need to see the statistics of your worksheet or workbook, like how many formulas, how many cells with data, or how many sheets, you can get this information from the Workbook Statistics dialog box. Click Review, then Workbook Statistics. Or you can quickly display this with the shortcut Ctrl plus Shift plus G. And check out the details contained here. Transform the case of text. Unlike Microsoft Word, Excel does not have a Change Case button to change the case of existing text to uppercase, lowercase, or proper case. However, it has built-in formulas or functions that can accomplish this. And the formulas are so simple and easy to use. See the examples here. Let us convert the text in the first row to uppercase by typing the equal sign, then upper and tab. Click the cell with text to be converted to uppercase and enter. For row 2, let us convert it to lowercase. The process is the same, but instead of upper, we use the function lower. Tab and refer to this cell and enter. For row 3, let us convert to proper case by typing the equal sign, then proper and tab. Click this cell and enter. Select all text from the cursor position to the end. If these are all the contents in a cell and you want to delete this portion up to the end, you can quickly select them if you press and hold Ctrl plus Shift plus End. Now you can proceed to delete the chosen text. Display the formula in full. If you have a long formula like this and you want to show it in full in the formula bar, press Ctrl plus Shift plus U. It's now completely displayed in the formula bar and easy for you to review. Or you can just click F2 to show the formula in full here. And we're down to the last one. Highlight the cell references of a formula. Let me show you how to highlight all the cell references of a formula of a specific cell using this example. All you need to do is to select or click the cell with formula, then press Ctrl plus the open square bracket key. At this point, you learned 50 Excel tools to boost your efficiency. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel for more tutorial videos.